Uh, we're having some difficult technical difficulties at the moment, but we are now back live and we can get back into our conversation where we're talking about when you fail to plan, you're planning to fail, and what that has to do with being prepared in the insurance world. So tell us more about what do you mean by that?
Well, as I was explaining earlier, many of the times we've always had that privilege of being of good health, and when you're of good health, most people don't think about buying a life insurance at that moment. Unfortunately, like in this week, I received several clients that I've been talking to, and one of them told me, "Mr. Rubio, I have high blood pressure." I said, "That's not a problem, but I have diabetes." "Well, that's still not a problem, but I have diabetes with insulin dependent. And by the way, I have anxiety. And then, of course, I smoke." I tell them, "Well, you just complicated your life because now I can sell you the standard regular policy because there are factors here that impede me or do not let me insure you to the best of my ability. Unfortunately, you didn't plan to have this, but now that you have it, I can't give you the proper plan that you want." He says, "Well, the price that you're quoting me is too high." I say, "Well, I am only the agent. I am work for the company, and I have to give you, according to the underwriting guidelines, what you qualify. Now, I could tell you, you know what, I'm going to give you the best rate, this and that, but when it comes down to the bottom line, the one that makes the final decision is the company. I am not an officer of the company. I'm just an employee of the company. I'm an agent trying to do the best for my clients. And most of the time, people fail to think that one day their health is going to change, or let's say one day they uh, they have an accident, and of course that changes everything. I've got clients that I've known for years that all of a sudden their health changed because of an accident. And lo and behold, I tell them, "Well, the good thing that I talked to you about how your plan would help you out on the long run, and I included this disability rider. And this disability rider will now have to go through underwriting. For what purpose? So you don't have to pay your premium anymore." I've had several clients that have had accidents, or they've had heart attacks, or unfortunately, they've had cancer, and that changes the whole system, the whole picture of things. And it is a comforting thought that I can come back and tell them, "You know what? Unfortunately, you had this happen to you, but I planned ahead. I planned for you, and I added these benefits. And guess what? You no longer have to pay your monthly premium because you had this when I told you to take it." At other times, people tell me, "Mr. Rubio, I don't need that benefit." I said, "Well, look, just think about this. It's only going to cost you a couple of dollars more, but if something happens to you, this will help you out because that 60 or $100 premium you're going to pay, you don't have to worry about that no more. You're still insured, and guess what? That 60 or $100 premium that you were paying, well, now you don't have to pay it, and that saves you money. And that money, of course, goes to who? For your benefit and your family's benefit. You know,
Okay.
it's a regular expense. Like I've mentioned in the past, Richard. I tell them, when you buy a life insurance policy, you buy it because it's not a commodity; it's a necessity. You buy it because you're providing a service for your family because you love them. Well, I hope you do. And
Yeah.
and guess what? Hey, the day that I pass away, this benefit will help you out. And this week I showed my younger son. I said, "You know what? Your older brother is no longer living with us, and your mother, of course, when something happens, people don't know how to react. People don't know what they're gonna do." I told them, "This is my plan," and I showed them, "Look here, and this file is my file. If I die by natural or accidental causes, I've already written instructions how we're going to do things, how I want my funeral to be conducted, and of course, how the money will be divided so that my wife and my family no longer have to worry about certain bills. And of course, the cost of every day, the
Hmm.
light, the telephone, the gas bill, the gas bill, the food bill, that's always the constant thing, Richard. You know that, right? You
Yeah,
know, and
negative.
you prepare them because when something happens and you didn't plan for it, none of us want to die. I don't know anybody that does, and if they do, they're not my client, okay? But
Yeah.
look, I'm making a plan for you, so something happens, I already have something to help out your family, and I can sit down with you and discuss this in a little bit more further detail. When you plan for your future, you plan all these little setbacks in life. Unfortunately, uh, I get calls and hey, you know what, my dad is now sick, and now I want to buy that policy for him. Well, you know what, it's going to cost you more. And they tell me, but Mr. Rubio, you gave me a price a couple of years ago. Well, yeah, but now where are we? You didn't plan ahead, and now he's sick or he's disabled, and he doesn't qualify because they're underwriting guidelines that I have to follow, like everybody else that works in the insurance business. And it is to your benefit to be prepared. When you should have listened to me, even though now he has this ailment or he has this problem, this is still going to help him. It's going to help the family, and you don't have to worry about these things. And as I mentioned earlier, and if you do get sick or you have an accident, I have benefits in place so that you no longer have to pay your monthly premium. Or let's say he's already been sick. I have a plan with a company that if you become so disabled that they have to place you in a nursing home, your policy is paid up for the rest of your life. It's paid up for the
Mm.
rest of their life. And God knows, hopefully it'll be a couple of years before they pass away, but at least they don't have to pay that extra money. Because you know
Yeah.
how it is, Richard. Unfortunately, when they place somebody like in a nursing home, uh,
Mhm.
all your government benefits, they disappear. You
Yeah.
are you are now responsible for paying their debts that they can no longer pay for themselves. That monthly check that the government was sending them, it no longer belongs to you. It belongs to that place that you've put him into, that nursing home or that rest home or that
I,
long-term care facility.
I had my grandfather before he passed away. It was the same thing. He had veteran benefits, and when they put him in a nursing home, all his benefits went straight to paying that bill.
Yeah,
But
and people
yeah.
think, no, 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 but that's not going to happen. I'll take care of mom and dad. You know what? That is just, I'm sorry, being ignorant, because
Mhm.
nobody today, in today's date, can take care of somebody at home like it used to be. It's just
Yeah.
impossible. I mean, mom and dad have to work. The
Mhm.
husband and wife have to work. Even after they become empty nesters, they're already used to living a lifestyle where it doesn't permit them to have somebody else brought back into the home. And
Yeah.
besides, you know, you have life that keeps going on.
Hmm.
I have found many people like, no, I'll take care of my mom and dad. Well, you know what? That sounds great in theory, but the reality of things, you can't. So when you don't plan ahead, you're
Hmm.
planning to fail. You're planning that, hey, my little fantasy world, it's gonna disappear. My brother
Hmm.
and I have talked about this. I know I have a brother. I have another older brother, and you sometimes have to talk reality into them. And
Yeah.
I hate to
That'd be
say this,
hard.
literally hit them with the reality of things. I asked
Hmm.
my older brother, hey, you know what? You became disabled. You didn't work till the age of 65 because you became disabled, and now you're getting a measly $1,100 a month. And he says, well, yeah, but I still have my retirement plan. And I said, well, how can you have a retirement plan if you can't separate money for retirement? Because you're disabled, and it just doesn't make any sense. Well, could you just explain it to me? You're 66 years old, because he already passed that 65. He said,
Yeah.
well, I'm planning that when my younger brother, he retires and his wife dies, he's gonna buy a Winnebago and we're gonna go cross country from one side to the other. That was his retirement plan. And I told
Wow.
him, dude, no, no, no. That's not a reality.
If you,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
his
if you don't have the health.
my younger brother from the older one, his wife died, and he hooked up with a lady after a year, almost a year. He hooked up with some other lady, and I told my brother, so how's that retirement plan working? It's not gonna work. Why? Because he hooked up with somebody else. He doesn't want to take me on that Winnebago. I said, well, that was never a retirement plan.
Mm-mm.
You cannot depend on somebody else, Richard. You have to depend on yourself. If you plan ahead, you'll be ready by the time you retire. It's like buying long-term care, like health insurance. It's like
Yeah.
buying the proper insurance for those little problems of tomorrow. I personally have always offered the mortgage cancellation policies for my clients that own a home. I've also had that, a trustee for minors, for those people that have young children that they want something good to happen to the kids, because what if mommy dies, or what if mommy and daddy dies?
Mm.
They have to be taken care of. Entonces, I am not like your regular Joe. I am not your regular agent. I have
Mm.
to look out for you, because this is in what your best interest. As I've mentioned in other shows that we've talked about it, people have come up to me and told me, Mr. Rubio, you didn't sell enough life insurance to my mom and dad. And I said, oh, you know what? I have an answer to that. I take out a little form that they signed. They said, you know what? We understand that we didn't buy enough coverage, and we're levying the load from Mr. Rubio. We're waiving from him to be yelled at or to get sued at, because we can't afford it. And of course, I turn around and tell these children, hey, I've talked to most of you, and I've told you, you want an inheritance? Buy mom and dad a life insurance policy. And
Mm.
when they pass away, this will be that what helps you. Okay? Because nobody has extra money laying under the bed. That those days, well, actually, I don't think they ever really existed, because nobody that
Yeah.
I know would have money under the bed. And if they do,
Yeah.
they'd spend it right away, right, Richard?
Exactly. And
Yeah,
I just want to welcome everyone to the stream that's joined with us. You're watching Ruben Rubio TX live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. You can find us there at Ruben Rubio TX. You can also visit our website at RubenRubioTX.com if you'd like to schedule an appointment or just ask a question to help you better plan out for your future. And today, our topic is when you fail to plan
you
in a
plan to
plan
fail.
to fail.
Mhm.
Now, a question I guess that's out there is what happens if you have like diabetes, but you're not at the point where you're insulin dependent? Would you still be able to qualify for that?
Oh,
How,
yes,
how
yes,
does that?
yes. As I mentioned earlier, just because you're sick doesn't mean that you're now, you're bedridden. No, there are companies out there, there's plans there. Even though you have an ailment like diabetes, you qualify for a standard policy. Of course, you fall under the underwritings. I would have to ask all the health questions. I would have to take down what your meds are. And of course, the company is the one that makes the final decision. And at that point of sale, most of the time, I usually get a response at that moment from the company, because I do a phone call interview. I've got to clear something with most people.
Uh-huh.
Every time that you go to the doctor's office has to report what was done to you and what were the results of that doctor visit. That falls under the Medical Information Bureau. So every time you go to your doctor, they have to report your health to that part of the government. Why? It is so that companies can go and look at your physical record. How is your health? Because this is how they also determine how they're going to be able to insure you, but also how are you in the stem of life? How are things going in your in life? Because banks and insurance companies, they all make very decisions depending on your information. I sometimes have a little bit hard time when people come and tell me, Mr. Rubio, I'm going to buy a $250,000 home. Well, I don't find that a problem, but you're 70 years old now and you got a 30-year mortgage. The average age
Mm.
in the United States is 72 for a male. Average age for a woman is 77 or 78. So, do you
Uh-huh.
understand? Companies look at that and said, "Oh, I don't think so. Unless you come back with the Medical Information Bureau saying you're in super excellent health and they kind of promise
Mhm.
you you're going to live to 100, they'll probably insure you, but or give you that loan. But most of the time, you've got to live in reality, Richard.
Yeah.
I talk to different people all the time, and this week that passed, I was having an interview. I was talking with some people, and of course, one of them comes out and tells me, "Oh, Mr. Rubio, I'm going to get my pilot's license." And I'm looking at the guy and like, "You are a dreamer. I know you personally. You have all these
Uh,
projects. You never fall through on any of them, but you want to be a pilot. That automatically puts you in a higher risk because that's one of the health questions. Other than flying an pilot, are you engaged in vehicle racing? Are you engaged in motorcycle racing? Are you in skydiving or deep sea diving? All these questions have to do with your hobbies, which can be quite dangerous.
yeah.
So, of course, I no longer do any of that stuff. I no longer ride horses or get on Broncos or get
Mhm.
on bulls anymore. So that I don't have to worry about that, or my family doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah. You're no longer a rodeo clown having to control the bull down before
I was
you know
never a
eventually.
clown. I'm just a clown by itself. Okay, I'm gonna run.
Okay.
I'm gonna run because that bull. I've already been thrown by bulls. So no, thank you. I'm not getting near them anymore.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
But you've got to understand, like I was telling you, you have to plan ahead. Now, if you're planning to go into a dangerous sport, you better have something to back you up because you never know. Have you ever seen some of these videos that they post? Oh, you know what? I'm going to take a picture over here at the Grand Canyon. Did you see that place that it was last year that people were going to take a selfie and they're like right on this thing and
Hmm.
11 people have died there. They just slipped down. They just
Mm.
fell all the way down. And I'm not talking a short distance. And they were picking these people up in blotters, okay?
Yeah, I've heard of stories
Sometimes
like that.
make bad
It's
decisions.
crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, so that's why I'm telling you, you just have to be practical with life. And like you said, well, he's insulin dependent now. Well, of course, it's going to be more expensive, and you don't qualify the same because your lifestyle changed the parameters of the life insurance. Oh, but you know what? I have high blood pressure, and that's all you have. That's all I have. That's not an impediment. Oh, but I have high blood pressure and I smoke. Well, now that changes from one rating to another because most
Hmm.
companies have a non-smoker rate and then they have a smoker rate. According to the Cancer Society, every time you take a cigarette and you smoke that thing, you take 1 day out of your life. You shorten your lifespan. I didn't
Nice.
I didn't say it, but the Cancer Society does.
Okay, well, I guess that answers that question. I just want to welcome Blanca Rodriguez to the show.
Oh, hi
Appreciate you
Blanca.
watching. I guess another question would be, let's say if you've had cancer, what are are there any opportunities there to continue to try to get some help, or what would be the limitations? Like, let's say you've had it for like more than 10
In
years and you're
most
in remission.
in most cancer situations, usually the if you have cancer and you've had it within the first 5 years, if it wasn't a mild melanoma of like the skin, there's no problem if it's a skin cancer if it's a mild melanoma. But now you're talking something like breast cancer or uterine cancer or prostate cancer or something like that. There is a 5 year waiting period to make sure that you've gone through the process. And most people that have gone through it after 5 years, I usually just sell them and they're standard. They don't qualify for the less healthier. They just regular health again. Because remember, we live in a world that ailments are an impediment, but that doesn't mean that it's gonna shorten your life at that moment. You have a rough time, but after 5 years, they see that you've gone through it, you're already cleared, you're in remission. Hey, they usually will insure you standard most of the time. I have had that successfully. I've had people, ladies, that have had mastectomies, and yet after 5 years, the company went back, they checked their records, they said, you know what? You passed, there's nothing coming up on your blood work, there's nothing coming out. We're going to go ahead and issue you standard policy. So they don't have to pay extra because they're sick or they were sick. But a cancer situation, most of the time they will have to wait a 5 year period. If it's other than a skin, let's say that how you have those little skin grafts, things that come out. Usually, if
Yeah.
they find that it's a melanoma that's very mild, they'll go ahead and issue you standard, even though it's less than 5 years. So that's a good thing for people. So keep out of the sun as much as you can. You know.
Yeah. So I guess can't be a casual or daily sunbather then.
No, 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 no. I'm already brown as it is, so I don't have to do that.
Oh, okay. I guess another question would be like high blood pressure. That's a very big one. That's like common in the community. How would that affect that kind of
Well, high
coverage?
blood pressure is it's taken very lightly in the sense that we gotta see how high and how low it goes because there's different types of people, and some is hereditary, okay, just the same, and some have gotten the stress so hard that now their pressure is uncontrollable or they haven't controlled it. But if they're in control. They have a doctor that's checking on them and telling them, hey, you know what? Your standard here's take your medications, and there's several medications that have helped. Science has come a long way. You know, most people many years ago that had high blood pressure, you knew they were going to have a heart attack when they least expected it. Nowadays, we don't have that problem, thank God, because there's medications. And of course, if you go see your doctor regularly, they're going to go ahead and maintain you at a good rate. And of course, most people that have high blood pressure, I can still insure them at a standard rate. Oh, what medications you're taking? Oh, I'm taking this and this. Or I'm just taking one pill. Oh, let's see. What are you taking? Oh, I'm taking a pill, but I'm on a diet. Oh, perfect. So most time, the underwriters will go ahead and issue you at a standard rate. So that's not an impediment. Like we talked about today, the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the cancers, they are still not impediments of you receiving a good policy. The impediment is that you need to plan ahead before these things happen. Like I mentioned earlier, I've had people tell me this week, Mr. Rubio, but that's not fair because now I want the insurance. Well, you don't qualify the same. Ya no calificas porque te enfermates, esperates mucho tiempo. You waited too long. And if you went to the doctor and there's a history, the company's going to find out. Most people all of a sudden tell me, oh, I neglected to tell you this. Well, you know what? It doesn't matter if you neglect to tell me. The company's going to find out because when you went to the doctor has to report this is
Yeah.
going on in your life. So there is nothing, Richard, literally hidden under the sun. Okay, everything is exposed.
Yep. So just want to again welcome and thanks everyone for joining the Ruben Rubio TX live stream. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch at RubenRubioTX. You could also visit our website at RubenRubioTX.com. If you have any questions that you'd like to submit for a future live stream answer, or if you want to go ahead and start planning right now to protect your future and protect your legacy, you can also enter your information and set up an appointment with Ruben Rubio, and he'll go ahead and walk you through what are the next steps to take. Because as the show has gone, if you fail to plan to fail for the future. Yes. Any more things you'd like to add to that?
No, other than the fact, thank you, Blanca Rodriguez. Thank you, Giovanna Correa. Thank you, Mauricio Rodriguez. Thank you for watching, and everybody else out there that I cannot name everybody, but thank you very much. And if you have any questions, don't be shy. Don't be bashful. You know, that is why we have this program. This is for your benefit, to help you out, because unfortunately, tomorrow people come up to me and say, you know what, I should have talked to you a long time ago. And it's just something that we have to take care of as soon as we can.
Yes. Yeah, because tomorrow's not promised to anyone. So.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess that will conclude our show for now. So stay tuned and make sure you follow us on the social medias. We'll try to keep you up to date with when the next episode, if we have bonus episodes, but you will find us here Tuesdays at 3 o'clock Central Standard Time, and we hope you have a great week.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Ruben Rubio. Help support my channel by visiting my website, RubenRubioTX.com, on your phone, tablet, or PC. For Facebook, go to the menu and click on the Facebook logo. On my Facebook page, click like and follow. For Instagram, go to the menu and click on the Instagram logo. On my Instagram profile, click follow. For YouTube, go to the menu and click on the YouTube logo. On my YouTube page, click subscribe and ring the bell for all notifications. For Twitch, go to the menu and click on the Twitch logo. On my Twitch page, click the heart to follow. If you have questions you'd like answered on one of our live streams or YouTube videos, go to the menu and click on Ask a Question. Fill out all the details in the form and click Submit. You can choose to be anonymous or have your first name mentioned on the video. If you'd like to schedule a phone appointment, go to the menu and click Schedule Phone Appointment. Fill out all the details and when the best time to reach you, and we will get back to you at our earliest time available. Hola, mi nombre es Rubén Rubio. Para apoyar mi canal, visite mi sitio de web RubenRubioTX.com en tu teléfono, tableta o computadora. Para Facebook, vaya al menú y haga clic en el logotipo de Facebook. En mi página de Facebook, haga clic en like y siga. Para Instagram, vaya al menú y haga clic en el logo de Instagram. En mi perfil de Instagram, haga clic en seguir. Para YouTube, vaya al menú y haga clic en el logotipo de YouTube. En mi página de YouTube, haga clic en suscríbase y haga sonar la campana para todas las notificaciones. Para Twitch, vaya al menú y haga clic en el logotipo de Twitch. En mi página de Twitch, haga clic en el corazón para seguir. Si tienes preguntas que le gustaría responder en alguno de nuestros livestream o videos de YouTube, vaya al menú y haga clic en Ask a Question, llene todos los detalles del formulario y haga clic en Enviar. Puede elegir ser anónimo o que su primer nombre se mencione en el video. Si desea programar una cita por teléfono, vaya al menú y haga clic en Schedule Phone Appointment. Llene todos los detalles y cuando es el mejor momento para llegar a usted y nos encontraremos en nuestro momento más temprano